Vyrah reporting for duty. Another time together. Let's watch some fucking YouTube. Let's do some React. It's been some time. Actually, it's not been some time at all technically. Before anything, I wanted to fucking talk to you about talk about a fucking anime that actually I didn't expect it to love this much. This is a Chinese anime. That is completely next gen. That is completely fucking like pristine. Like this is beyond pristine, friend. Like this is the type of anime that like I was always curious of like different like type of production, especially like when it comes to countries, and this is the fucking gold. Like this is the fucking gold. It is really fucking good. It is really fucking like so. Let's talk about it. It is called, and it comes from China. So it is really interesting to see how the Chinese art industry is reacting to the anime industry because they released To Be Hero X, and this is what we're gonna. I'll just show you like I'll just show you some snippets from the trailer, right? And you will like, and just I will talk about it a little bit. But like this is beyond like this is beyond anything that this is beyond anything like I could think about. Like so the animation absolutely unbelievable, out of this world. And here's the thing. Like when I started this anime, I was like, fuck. You know what? I don't know much about like superheroes, My Hero Academia, like and stuff. I was kind of done, I was kind of done. But you know what? It was like mega fucking hyped, and I told myself, you know what? Fuck it. Might as well fucking like check it out, right? And then I checked it out, and fuck me, dude. Fuck me, friend. Like this is just like unbelievable. The animation is unbelievable. The soundtrack is unbelievable. But what I was the most surprised is actually the story and the storytelling itself. So To Be Hero X is an anime that just s- this tells a story differently. And if you watched the anime, you will understand. If you will watch the anime, you will understand. And it is really that good. This is not only like something absolutely unbelievable artistically, but also it doesn't come from fucking Japan. It comes from fucking China. And this is fucking awesome to fucking see what the Chinese artists are able to fucking like make. Like To Be Hero X is something like unmissable. Like you need to at least give it a try. Like at least give it a try. Just look at how fucking pretty everything is. Just look at, and like the story, it is a superhero story. So it's like I had like my like it doesn't make sense here. Like it's kind of like I was like kind of, but then you get into the story and you're like, what the fuck? It actually like they created like something like just unbelievable. This is really an anime that you should give it a try. All right. Um. Okay. Let's get back to normal to normal. So there was like a couple trailers that I wanted to watch. Let's check out like a couple trailers. And then we'll keep going. Like there is like a couple video that I want to watch. Um, so the cube adults, but I don't know what it is. No clue. But yeah.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the sky. A giant.
Okay, let me just check if my I'm sorry for being annoying, but like, okay. Let me just check if my
Cube.
okay. Yeah, I was like I was kind of lost like here, but yeah. So yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. Okay, so the Cube announcement trailer. Let's check it out.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the sky, a giant cube.
Oh no.
I can still barely believe it myself. When it showed up, I was in the lab. I didn't even see it. You know? I felt that same fear, though. A terrible sense of my own powerlessness.
This looks pretty. This looks pretty, really pretty.
How did the
She
whole
looks
of
pretty.
humanity miss
She's
it?
pretty.
And did we actually miss it? What if the cube didn't appear, but revealed itself? What if it was always there, and we've only just started to see it?
Okay. Okay. Damn. Also, it's in the Atomic Art universe. Oh, this is actually quite fucking interesting. Like, first off, like, just for the thing, like, Bungie made us able to be scared of halos, so circles, so rings, and now they're able, they're doing it again, and they're trying to make us scared of cubes. Oh my fucking god. We will get to the point where like every single fucking form, geometrical form is a fucking menace to us. But other than that, this looks absolutely beautiful. So it's in the Atomic Art universe. You know what? I will check out Atomic Hearts just for the sake of it, because as much as like Atomic Hearts didn't like made me like wanna buy it. This looks absolutely fantastic. What the fuck? It is absolutely like insane. Like, and the graphics is just like unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Gameplay, a lot of like different types of gameplay. Like, the only thing that I ask myself, it's if it's like a multiplayer game, not multiplayer game. Is there multiplayer? Like, I see like multiplayer potential, and for once, like some good multiplayer potential, you know? Like, but I don't know. If it's story driven, I'll take it. Story driven, we need more story driven games that like just move you, you know? Yeah, so yeah, in the Atomic Heart universe. Damn, damn. This looks like absolutely really fucking interesting. Um okay. Okay, so I have not played Atomic Hearts, so let's check out the trailer for Atomic Hearts, just because like might as well like uh kind of miss this wave. Can be an interesting game. Can be an interesting game. Like, can you load? Thank you. Right. Okay.
Man was born to dream, to do great things. Flying machines, space travel, even robots. But unfortunately, there are those who wish to crush those dreams. And that's where men like you come in, Sergey. Men sworn to defend mankind and its destiny.
Okay.
I swore that the world would never see its like again.
Do you realize what this could mean for us? An international scandal.
They're not going to find out. The malfunction has been dealt with.
Then why did all those peaceful robots start hacking everyone to bits?
The entire world will be just like this.
You're a soldier, Agent B3. Your job is to cover me.
This place is a damn madhouse.
Who are you?
Xena. Granny Xena.
South, the whole world might end. Get the fuck off me!
Okay. Okay, this looks interesting. Like, this looks interesting. I might fucking play. Like, I think that, like, it's funny, like, everyone despises the Soviet Unions, but everyone misses the Soviets. Like, as someone who really fucking, like, adore this, like, fucking brutalist, like, just, like, CCCP type of, like, vibe. Like, this is basically, like, Metro outside of the Metro, which is fucking like cool, like which is really fucking cool. So yeah, mm, really looks interesting to me. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's get into some WoW. Let me just check one thing again. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay. Yeah, let's check some WoW. First, let's get into like some AI work. Just chill. Just before we go back to the whole fucking like it's a fucking like complicated game type of like content. Let's check this out. It's not a lore video. Oh, it's just remastered. As much, okay, as much as like the AI videos, I could not like change the, like there is this cartoony vibe to WoW, like there's this cartoony vibe to WoW that like you cannot take away from WoW. Like people had the chance and Blizzard had the chance to fucking like change things and they never did, and for a good reason. Like this game is like 20 years old, 20 years old, and they still like their graphic engine is basically the same. It's based off the same, and I think that like it is something that is like that doesn't get old. This will get old someday, you know? Mm. As well as this, like in fucking like 10 years, this will look like fucking PS1 level of graphics. And wow, because of this kind of like fantasy vibe, like that it has, like it will never get this, you know? Like, and as much as like this looks great, you know, through their engine that is like more, yeah, it's not as much, you know, like it's not as like clear or as pretty, right? But it has this vibe, you know, it has this vibe that is just like timeless. Okay, this is a Murloc from Hearthstone. Basically, like they took like the fucking like this looks like a card from Hearthstone as animated. Like it looks great overall. Like it looks fucking great. But here's the thing: all this like the animations and stuff like wow, it's timeless, and they really fucking did something with their engine that made it timeless. This will look grim and old in a certain time, while wow, well, it's not because of it's because of the choice of color and a choice of style. So basically, like it is something that is like different, you know? It's just a different style, and you can like put as much fucking like pixels and like add resolution and stuff. Like you cannot add this kind of like it's kind of like a filter. It's kind of like a filter, and this filter you cannot really like. You need to put it on this, you know, but it doesn't match the vibe, I think. So yeah. Like these are interesting, these videos. Well, I thought it was like a lore video. But yeah, it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. I prefer my good old WoW. All right. Uh, okay, let me be right back. Okay. All right. So, let's get into more. Wow, there is some updates, apparently, like some news about like player housing. Fuck, the fuck did I do? So, player housing. So let's check that on this out. If you haven't subscribed to Pellular, give him a sub. This dude is a legend. Okay, let's check this out. Player housing has way more gameplay than we expected. I'm actually really fucking curious about that because, like, player housing will be a revolution when it comes to WoW, when it comes to recycling old content, making old content relevant, and actually, like in so many ways, player housing is something that is absolutely unbelievable, and it's even more unbelievable by the fact that, like, say, Blizzard actually understands how important it is for their own game, and they actually take the time to care to handle it, like to really create like a beautiful experience for the player. So I'm actually really curious because last time, like, what we learned is basically that, like, there is a lot of customization, and basically you'll have your neighborhood basically. And so this is interesting, but let's get into it.
The Warcraft news today, we have a lot in the show. Player housing has just got a giant progression system. We've all got a lovely reminder that Blizzard really does love feet, and a hell of a lot more. Housing neighborhoods, release dates, and even a bank revamp. I also have a problem. Vercel's V0 and every no-code tool on Earth have empowered a new generation of vibe coders. I've kind of joined them. My editors have actually been making internal tools for our team that previously we'd need an engineer for. There's a problem, a dragon, and that dragon is backend, and my sponsor boot.dev exists to help you slay that dragon. And I'm not even being cheesy. Boot.dev is built by a gamer for fellow gamers, and it fits my weaknesses, right? Coming from C# game dev, mostly in Unity, front-end stuff was kind of like fine and easy to me, honestly, but wiring up databases, dealing with auth, all of that was obscure wizardry. It just isn't really where I had learned. And that's why I swear by boot.dev. Lane and the team have baked the fun of an RPG, so quests, XP, guild style, Discord, that really is an amazing place, all into a curriculum that's laser focused on you getting serious backend chops. If you've heard of words like data structures, API, auth flows, algorithms, Docker, if you've heard of those and want to know how to use them and build them, well, yeah, this is actually how. Now, you will build and deploy a server client Pokedex, you'll remake asteroids in Pygame, you'll even tackle job search preparation. And that's the thing with Boot. They don't skip the important stuff. So no more tutorial hell, no pricey bootcamp hustle bullshit, just a structured path that turns your energy to make shit into viable engineering talent. And Boot itself keeps on adding features. You've got the searchable spellbook and constant content drops like TypeScript, which is absolutely huge. And I also have a hack to save you some money. Boot.dev/bellular, right? Code Bellular gets you 25% off your first purchase. And if you buy the yearly plan, well, 25% of a bigger number is a bigger number. That'll save you the most. And if you don't gel with it, don't worry, there's a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. I'll hit the big story first. If you want a big bar to fill, then, well, get ready to level up your house. This, what you're currently looking at, is an endeavor. Essentially, imagine the Traveler's Log and the Trader Post, but mooshed together and, well, being for houses and being shared with all of your friends and your neighbors. There's going to be public ones that will be assigned automatically, but private groups can pick whichever one is active. And if you're confused in public and private, don't worry, I'll talk about that later. So, the way it works is
Okay, so it's kind of like renowned, or like, yeah, you get to complete like seasonally, or like something like that, like a in between a reputation and, yeah, your adventure book. Like, this is really cool. This is really cool. A good way to engage players.
Endeavor will change the whole vibe of your neighborhood, and it'll give you a huge list of very, very tasks to complete. And this is to complete collectively, not individually. So essentially,
Get more tasks. Yeah, it's not ironic. Welcome to We Play WoW. We hear more tasks and we're happy about it.
it is a proper old housing co-op. And I hope your guild have got at least a few crafters. If not, start recruiting, start leveling up, because it seems the crafting will be fairly important here. Anyway, finish.
You can have a neighborhood with your friends. This is actually cool. This is really fucking cool.
These will earn you both favor and currency. Now, the currency is where loads of the rewards and the new housing items are going to come from. As you progress through an endeavor, more NPCs connected to that endeavor's aesthetic will show up, and when they do, they'll sell you housing items for that endeavor's unique currency. So let's just work through an example. Their example is Vyrah. It's one of the Legion zones, so basically think of the Emerald Nightmare, kind of dark red trees and that sort of thing. Now, they also seem to hint that you can buy items from other neighborhoods. So, as an example, even if your guild is running the Vyrah one, but you'd rather have something else, that seems to be okay. You could just go and visit another neighborhood that's
Okay, this is already like so much complexity that like that adds up so much complexity to just like housing. Basically, like when we heard first about housing, it was like, yeah, you get a house. Then it's a neighbor, and now it's like you get to fucking, wow, this is unbelievable. Like, this is actually fucking great.
running another endeavor. So for example, you could earn your currency doing Vyrah stuff for your guild, but then go to another neighborhood, say with the Lightforged event active, and then you could spend your currency over there, buying their items. But it's not just currency. There's another thing called favor, and this is where it gets a bit more interesting. So by being in a neighborhood that progresses endeavors and then just working on tasks yourself, you can actually level up your own house. Now, the example on screen has got an increased decor limit as an award for hitting level 7, as well as a whole bunch of varied items that you unlock by basically just leveling up your house. Sadly, though, there is so much here that we just do not know. I mean, having an increased decor limit as a reward might mean
it's actually good. Then like there's so much to fucking like analyze and fucking check out that like that's you cannot fucking like tell me. Like, this is a great news that like
will start off perhaps more limited than some people expect. Maybe it's done like that for pacing so new players don't get overwhelmed. Maybe it's about allocating server space to super dedicated people who've actually bothered to level up. We don't really know at this stage, and we also don't know if favor and the currency are going to be farmable, or if it will be kind of like the trading post where you'll have to skip certain items each month if you basically want to be like economical with your limited currency. We basically don't know about that now, but this is only a small part of what Blizzard overall revealed about player housing, because they also did a full reveal and a walkthrough of how neighborhoods work. Okay, Blizzard have finally lifted.
Okay, this is interesting because last time they talked about like housing in general, how you do it, and they barely talked about neighborhoods. So this is really fucking like, yeah.
The lid on, I think, the biggest part of housing. Basically, where the hell are they? So the Alliance are setting up shop here. This is a place called Founders Point, and it looks like this. Essentially, it's a perfect recreation of that like Elwyn and Duskwood vibe, but of course made with modern assets. And if you're wondering what a future world revamp would look like, I think it's probably fair to say it'll look kind of like this.
This is actually like a good remark, yeah. And for the future, I'm guessing that like neighborhood you'll have more liberty about like the neighborhood that you choose. So this is just the beginning.
very high quality assets, but they are nice and simple, I would say. I think it's a pretty good balance. It's built with plenty of space in mind, designed to look good before anything else. I do quite like it. Now, the Hordes version is the Razor Wind Shores, which kind of looks, I mean, a bit less barren than I expected, actually. There is some nature there. I think a lot of us just expected, like, dry, dusty Durotar, but
Yeah, but like, who the fuck wants to live in the desert? Like, for real, like, Noah and Oasis, Oasis is fine, but like, plain dry fucking just sand. Yeah, no.
this feels a little bit more like a Shara to me, which is actually perfect because in the lore, the Horde are currently regrowing Durotar and basically the Barrens to be more habitable and I suppose more productive. Though in both cases, we actually see the zones have got some variety. As an example, over in this corner, it's very dusky, dark lighting for an Alliance house, and for the Horde, we've got an area that looks a little bit more like one of their typical desert regions. In terms
This is
of
cool.
sizing then, each instance will have about 50 plots, and they will all be around the same size. Some are clustered together for a little bit of a suburban neighborhood sort of vibe, and some are way off in the forest for people who prefer peace and quiet. And it's a nice bonus that most of them come with loads of yard space, so again, that'll be way more decoration stuff, and at least that way, you can decorate without having your neighbor's mess crossing into your land, because every plot does actually seem to be decently big. Okay, let's talk about public and private then. So, in a public neighborhood, anyone can buy a house anywhere that they want. The game handles creating, naming, managing all of these things, as well as handling the actual gameplay that is attached to them. And yes, there is actually gameplay, and I'll get to that in a little bit later in the video. Now, if you settle down in one of these, then you'll have that house in that neighborhood until you decide to move, which of course may or may not be because of your neighbors. Now, on that topic, the other kind is a private neighborhood. And there are two types of private neighborhood. So obviously there are guild neighborhoods, but you actually don't need to be in a guild to have privacy. That's because groups of players can make what's called a charter neighborhood together, which basically is kind of like a guild neighborhood, but it's a charter, and you know, whoever's on the charter gets to be in there. Now, sadly, right, Blizzard will not let you have one of these all to yourself. They say this is because of server limitations, so because of that, they will require a certain minimum number, even in a guild, but they've not yet said how many. Whoever owns the guild or charter can name these and control who lives in them, and pass some of those permissions onto other people, basically just like with guild permissions. But the only difference is that the private charters are limited to 50 people, which is one instance, but guilds can actually have multiple instances. So if you've got a really big guild, you can have like 4 different instances, which would support 200 people. And if you want privacy, it
This is cool. This is really cool.
also doesn't matter what type you're in, you're basically going to be good. That's because you can set your own permissions for your own yard and for your actual house. So say you want to let anyone into your yard, but only let guildies or BNet friends into your house. You'll be able to do that, or you could just keep your house as your own personal private little goon cave that nobody else can go into. Now, if you leave your guild or fall out with your neighbors, you can just move out. This is kind of neat. So at any time, you can pack up your house, pick another place to live, and unpack your house there, which technically confirms support for a massively requested feature, house loadouts. Now, sadly, Blizzard have not confirmed house loadouts will be a thing. Server limits may mean they don't want to support that right away. I mean, as an example, a house loadout is way more complex than, say, a talent loadout, just thinking of data structures and shit, and we're only allowed a handful of talent loadouts, but the basic idea is you can pack your house away and then immediately bring it somewhere else with it all being intact. That at least opens the door to you having different housing loadouts that you could maybe swap between. Certainly not for launch, but it does seem more possible than not. Anyway, that's everything for now. With that said, let's talk about...
This is actually really good news. Like, it will make make WoW social in a different way, because like you'll have neighbors and like, I don't know, like usually it's, I mean, maybe you'll get like a new type of social experience in WoW thanks to housing in neighborhoods, because like technically when you are in capitals these days, you do not really talk or care about the people who are here. Sometimes you look at the transmogs and stuff, but that's it. But well, in neighbors, well, you get to see people and you get to interact with them, or maybe not. But like this will be really, really, really interesting, like because it might be a new way for people to socialize in retail especially now that when people actually asked and searched for ways to socialize other than actually like from going through what I will say like hardcore content, right? Because like technically like you do not need to socialize for like normal or mythic dungeons that are like not too high, right? For like even normal raids, heroic raids, you don't really need to socialize. While player housing will maybe allow to fucking like make people socialize in WoW in ways that like we never saw before, and even in video games, to be honest. Like in video games now, because like there is like this all these like Second Life and like other games, but like Star Citizen and stuff, right? But like WoW is a different game in the sense that like people will be kind of like stuck with each other, right? Because like the neighborhoods are like kind of like locked in, and the areas are already like kind of like set, right? To be cramped or not and stuff like that. I mean, like I think that like it will be interesting. Now the question is, will it be like interesting enough, and will it create like a new way for players to actually like meet each other and like actually live adventures with each other? Like I'm really excited to see how like the player base will react to WoW neighborhoods. Like the WoW neighborhood sounds like really fucking like dope. Like I don't know.
Release dates, bank vaults, and a shitload more. Patch 11.2 drops August 5th, with the season starting a week later on the 12th. All pretty brisk, and really it's just like everyone expected from the PTR dates. Now, one thing that you should note is this.
Okay, so launch August 5. Okay. New zone, ecological succession, new dungeon, new delve, Rush wraps. So the rush wraps are it's the legendary cloak, phase diving, new story and quests. Okay, and then Tazavash new raid season 3 begin. Dating dungeon pool. So we get like one more week for like the vaults. This is interesting. Okay, so we get like one more week than I thought for the vault. And we get some time, we get like a week to fucking try out the new dungeons, because like there are 3. There are like the 2 dungeons and the mega dungeon, and I think that the mega dungeon is like just both dungeons at the same time. Like, or there's only one dungeon and one mega dungeon. I'll check it out. But yeah, this is actually a good release, so people don't fucking like start to fucking like get into the hard stuff before hardcore stuff before they get to discover kind of like the vibe of Tazavash. So
Launch will actually, I mean, touch wood, be better than most. That's because Mythic Zeros and World Bosses will be enabled in Week 1. So basically, in Week 1, you're not going to go in, play the story for 3 or 4 hours, then have nothing to do. No, there'll actually be progress to make on your characters in Week 1, which is fairly huge improvement over where we used to be. Being fair to Blizzard, it's one of many improvements in Season 3. But to just get meta for a little, this actually does mean that Blizzard have basically hit every patch on target. We're almost a calendar year since the War Within launch. The 5th of August makes it 49 weeks since launch. Blizzard aimed for 8 weeks between patches. Patch 11.2 marks the 6th patch since then, and 8 times 6 is 48. That means they're off by just 1 week, and we actually know exactly how. So the Christmas break meant that patch 11.1 took 10 weeks instead of 8. Now, with this patch, Blizzard are actually gaining a week back because it's only been 7 weeks since 11.1.7, or at least whenever 11.2 comes out, it will only have been 7 weeks since the most recent patch. Now, obviously, it's not exactly a case of the more the merrier. Not every patch has been great. Most patches were kind of busted on launch. There's a lot of things where we could just tell they pushed them out because they wanted to ship something. Looking at you, Codex of Chromie and some of those weird features like even Dastardly Duos. But what they have done is for
Technically, I disagree because, like, really, the Starly Duos, like, was with like it's the same with like the blood shards and stuff. It's on top of like what's going on, so it's kind of like we could have got nothing and just wait for the patch, and it will have been fine enough, right? Well, we got like a couple events like the Visions of N'Zoth and Industrially Duos, which is actually I think it's cool. I think it's surplus actually. It's bonus content, you know, like rather than like pushed content.
basically the first time since Legion actually managed to meet their own deadlines reliably. That is, meet the deadlines reliably, not always ship a reliable build of the game on time. But more importantly, they've done that while also giving us some fairly substantive game updates, right? Things like all the housing stuff we've talked about, the cooldown manager, the upcoming slaughter of add-ons. They've bitten off quite a lot. And before I leave you with this video, there is another big upgrade for the game. It's small, but it is the kind of change that you really will feel every day. So, you know how Blizzard added the Warband Bank update stuff? It's all pretty good, the Warband Bank is really nice, but god, it's really expensive to get like more than 2 tabs. Well, I've got good news for you. Patch 11.2 data mining has unearthed something a little bit juicy. It's an achievement and some strings that indicate Blizzard are going to port the new and improved tab system from the Warband Bank over to the main bank. That would essentially mean no fiddling around with having a whole bunch of little 30-slot bags inside your bank that you then put your item.
Okay, this is actually great because like god damn this the bank like your bank didn't got updated since launch. We have the same bank as we had in vanilla. Like it never got updated. This is a great news. This is actually a great news. And the bags, yeah, fuck these bags. What the fuck?
In. When you think about it, it's really weird. Anyway, this could be the biggest upgrade to the bank in basically WoW's history, and WoW had actually
There was no upgrade. So biggest upgrade? Yes, there was no upgrade to the fucking like personal bank. None. Like if you play classic, you see the bank, you notice something. It's the same fucking bank as you have like in fucking retail these days.
worked out because it suggests 6 tabs that it could be up to 500 storage slots. That is massively more than we've got right now in game. It does not look like this is going to be live in patch 11.2, to be very clear. It's just that we've seen these data mine strings. That kind of indicates Blizzard might be working on them, so maybe we will see this perhaps in the next 0.5 patch. Whoever's in charge of quality of life really does need a raise at this stage. But actually,
yes.
Before I go, just one quick thing. Blizzard have done a tease. Okay, we talked about Blizzard teasing a new void spec for Demon Hunters. That means that everyone's been on the hunt for clues, and we've actually seen a few of them. So whenever Blizzard did their official recording of in-game cinematics, they did it as a Demon Hunter. Now, I'm sure there's no reason for that whatsoever, given the hints. And really, they're so transparent. I actually did a video on it if you want to know all of the hints and how they're basically building the direct lore for making a void infused demon hunter that's actually part of a character's story in the new patch. So it does seem that we as players will probably get that at some stage. And on the topic
this
of
is
void,
cool as fuck.
if you want to know where all of that confusing, strange old god lore went, good news. I've got you covered. Watch this video next.
Okay, so I will not watch it. I will try to fucking understand it myself. But this was a great video. Thank you, Pelilor, for like letting me know what the fuck is going on in my favorite game. Yeah, this is great. This is great news. Neighborhood, like this is fucking legit. This is fucking lit. Like this will be really interesting, and I'm really curious to know if it will actually change the if it will actually like make the game like more social or not. Like maybe it will, like I really hope it will allow for people to actually like meet each other more and just like talk with each other more rather than fucking like seeing like rather than seeing each other in capitals and never fucking talking, you know. Like maybe it will not happen and people will stay introverted or like not really talk about it, but you know, it doesn't matter. Like it will create something.
Currently,
Okay, let's get some more. Wow,
currently, World of Warcraft features
the most ridiculous build in World of Warcraft. The one that I can think about is Palamage. Palamage was like during vanilla, something kind of legit. I'm pretty sure it was like really fucking bad, but it was something. So I just know about Palamage. It basically like when they added you choose your spec and then you choose your talents. Like basically before you could do more, you had like more liberty when it comes to like but you had no passives like bound to your spec, right? But basically you had more liberty, like you who didn't choose the spec and you were like, yeah, now I'm like I don't know, only paladin, right? And then I choose my talents. Because of that, people could like cannot choose their talents in different ways that are like that to me, even to this day, are more interesting in a way. Because like technically it allows for more, but at the same time when it comes to like balancing and stuff like that, I can understand like at this point like people like you as a developer, as a game developer, you can be fucking like tired of having to fucking balance like a fucking 32 classes and 62 specs per class, you know, and each time someone fucking finds a way to fucking break the game and fucking make it unfun for everyone, you know, like so yeah.
13 playable classes and many more specializations. Each one is unique in its own way, but sometimes that's not enough for players. The game allows for creating builds and setups that transform something familiar and overused.
Okay, let me just. This is interesting. Let me just say this one.
You think you know Azure?
Okay. Wait, what the fuck? Right. Sorry.
Used into something strange, wild, and fun. In this video, I want to talk about unusual builds and strategies that gained popularity or surprised others at various times in the game's history. In some cases, this happened due to bugs that unlocked interesting possibilities, and sometimes due to players' ingenuity or the peculiarities of older expansions, which literally made some classes one-button wonders.
Okay, there was like this story about like basically like shamans that were multi-boxing. Oh, this is an interesting one. I am curious to know, like, let me check if there is like a video about it. Because like basically like so in WoW, basically there's this thing called multi-boxing. Let me just I didn't heard about this game as well. It's just oh my god. To keep releasing games over games. Okay. So check this out. So basically like you create like you take a salmon. And salmons were really fucking elemental salmon, so caster salmon were really fucking easy to fucking play. And basically what you have to do is basically buy fucking like buy 5 subscriptions and run so it wasn't technically hacking because you will run like 5 instances of the same fucking of WoW, and basically like your your mouse and keyboard will be bound to all 5 games, and you will do the same actions. And basically what they do is basically they will play, I don't think that they played any other class, but like they will play, Shaman is really like good to multi-box, because basically you have like, you just go lightning, 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 the totems are the same, and if you want to, and you get a healing pack, right? So you can get to heal as well. And so basically like they could just like break the game by just spamming the fuck out of the fucking enemy. They will just go and press the fucking like lightning over and over again. I think he plays enhancement. Oh, he plays enhancement. This is actually, no, it doesn't play enhancement. No way. Ah, yeah, it does play enhancement. Actually, this is weird. So, because like technically, like the best one to play is Elemental Salmon, because it was like fucking stupid. Basically, it is basically the dumbest thing you can do, because you just like look at people and destroy them with your fucking like 5 salmon fucking team. You just like pop your, you just do your lightning, and if someone needs a heals, you get 5 heals at the same time. It is this fucking stupid. This dude was doing it on during Wrath of the Lich King. What a fucking legend. Like, basically, it was that easy. It was that easy. Like, you just needed to pay $50 a month for like WoW, right? But like, let me 2p. Like, where is it? Right, multi-boxing 10 elemental shamans. Fuck you. Like, these people were fucking degens. But like, yeah, it's over to me, like, you can do PvE with this, and you can do PvP. Like, PvP is funnier because technically, like, and you could technically do only do it for shamans, because like other classes, they are like way more complicated. Think of a mage like using 5 blinks, because like shamans, they don't have like, because you can see it. Wait. Okay, I'll go for like the footage of like enhancement shaman. Yeah, it was enhancement. But like basically like a mage, you can like do that because of blink is really fucking like you can see, like, check it out. So there is a delay for the accounts. They do not like they're not exactly completely synced, right? So when he turns, they turn, and there's a small delay. But because of that, like, they get to fucking like destroy people. And technically, Enhancement Shaman, actually, it seems that like it worked well enough, huh? Because like it is like really fucking funny to see like people getting destroyed by Wind Fury. Well, basically, it will be even funnier with like basically they just toss you the fucking lightning over and over again. But they're 5 and they're in sync, and basically you get destroyed by like, because like they're as like when it comes to casting time, like since it's synchroned, like you get to fucking like get blasted by pyroblast after pyroblast, basically, and get completely destroyed. Like some things were like kind of like non-busted, because like you get like if they use like sheep, right? Well, it's you get sheep 5 times. It doesn't fucking matter, because like it has to follow your, like, multi-boxing is legal technically, because you just copy what the keyboard does on different accounts, right? So it's not like you can there is no script to it. Like, basically, there's no script, or like, no, you just like copy what you command to how you play to the keyboard, but like to 5 different accounts. So this is actually like reasonable and legit, and technically not cheating. Except like if you have like $50 per month to fucking spend on WoW, bro, like what the fuck? But like, yeah, and basically like for healing, it is the same. Like one of the teammates gets fucking like start to get destroyed, right? Like here, right? And you get fucking healed to the max because you get healed by fucking like 5 people at the same time. Like, and it's like instant heal, right? And like this is like fucking like this is funny as fuck, but like this didn't exist much, but this existed. Like salmon multi-boxing was something like a couple people did, and like I'm pretty sure that like it must be fucking stupid to play, but like it must be fun. But yeah, just wanted to fucking point that out. Yeah, anyway.
The Burning Crusade expansion.
Let's get back to okay. So more WoW. Okay, more WoW. Let's get back
Currently,
to
World of Warcraft.
the most ridiculous builds in WoW. Basically, like yeah, I only know about Palamage.
Features 13 playable classes and many more specializations. Each one is unique in its own way, but sometimes that's not enough for players. The game allows for creating builds and setups that transform something familiar and overused into something strange, wild, and fun. In this video, I want to talk about unusual builds and strategies that gained popularity or surprised others at various times in the game's history. In some cases, this happened due to bugs that unlocked interesting possibilities, and sometimes due to players' ingenuity or the peculiarities of older expansions, which literally made some classes one-button wonders. The Burning Crusade expansion allowed some classes to either go beyond normal gameplay. Even during testing, balanced druids had a lot of fun. What happens if 5 balanced druids in Moonkin form gather in an arena and start spamming Moonfires and Starfires?
Oh my fucking god. Oh yeah, he talks about like fucking multi-boxing. Okay.
Results in fun and fear for enemies who encounter such a team. In vanilla, by the way, there were also such pranksters.
I didn't knew about like that you can moonkin multi-boxing, but like technically, yeah, you can do that.
This video shows how a druid player decided to leave only Moonfire on their action bar. He went to the battlegrounds and proceeded to kill enemies. Surprisingly, it worked. But these were just individual antics. I once recounted how in the Burning Crusade, rogue tanks emerged who, thanks to a specific build, managed to achieve an enormous percentage of dodge and parry, exceeding 100%, which in certain situations made them practically invulnerable. This in turn allowed them to tank bosses with physical melee damage. It had limited effectiveness, basically only on a few bosses, but it was a pretty fun build that allowed this class to truly feel like a real tank for the first time. When Season of Discovery was released, rogue tanks received a more complete embodiment. With the help of runes, it was possible to create a rogue tank.
Rogue tanks? What the fuck?
That could effectively tank bosses in vanilla raids. This had its own set of inconveniences, but it was quite playable. And overall, Season of Discovery implemented a lot of builds that were meme-worthy or impractical in the past. But let's return to the Burning Crusade. Warlocks, however, could have a much less varied gameplay that at some point
Oh yeah, I heard about like warlocks being able to tank as well, yeah.
literally boiled down to spamming just one button. To simplify greatly, there was a famous build whose essence came down to two things. First, the player uses demonic sacrifice to sacrifice their succubus demon. This grants a bonus of shadow damage by 15%. Second, after this, it was necessary to shamelessly spam Shadow Bolt. The funniest thing was when a person pressing only one button for a significant part of the fight could have almost the best damage per second in the raid. This is both amusing and boring at the same time. Hunters were famous for something similar. They have the ability Steady Shot, which proved powerful in terms of cost versus damage output, but you couldn't rely solely on this. We can't forget about auto attacks either, which also contributed. But how to use the ability without interrupting auto attacks? Hunters came up with a macro that allowed them to simultaneously spam Steady Shot and additionally deal auto attacks at a specific frequency so they wouldn't be interrupted and lose some damage. Kill command for the pet was also used. Technically, this could turn an entire class into a literally one-button playstyle, and it could genuinely work in some situations. So, in this regard, Warlocks and Hunters were similar, and gameplay in some builds was indeed very boring.
Yeah, especially if it's the best build. Like if it is like the meta and they're like, oh yeah, I got like the fucking meta. You're happy for like 5 minutes that like you don't get to play the game, and then you don't get to play the game anymore, and you're like, well, actually, I was wrong about like wanting to get it easy, get an easy fucking like DPS check, right?
Another oddity you might have encountered, though primarily on private servers, was the spell power rogue. Sounds wild, right? Casters, at least, were certainly not thrilled by such players hogging their gear. The core idea behind this unusual build was to stack as much spell power as humanly possible through raid and dungeon gear. The logic, from these theory crafting players' perspective, was that this would significantly amplify the damage dealt by their poisons.
Okay, this is actually an interesting build. Like, this is actually like really creative.
The backbone of the build was the rogue ability Shiv, which allowed them to instantly apply their offhand weapon's poison. To maximize damage, rogues using this strategy constantly swapped their offhand weapon. It started with a weapon coated in deadly poison, a debuff that ticked for 12 seconds and could stack up to 5 times. Once deadly poison was fully stacked on the enemy, the rogue would quickly switch to another offhand weapon laced with instant poison, which dealt immediate damage upon proc. As the duration of the applied deadly poison effect neared its end, the rogue would perform another weapon swap, refreshing the crucial deadly poison debuff on the opponent. This entire intricate cycle would then repeat continuously. On paper, this unusual approach sounded intriguing, and such rogues occasionally appeared on private servers, but it only worked there due to incorrect poison scaling from spell power, a bug not present in properly functioning versions of the game. For a very similar reason, at one point in time, you could even find bizarre spell power warriors on some of these same non-official servers. Attempts to create spell power rogues also tentatively occurred on official servers. When
So I'm guessing it's like all about bleeds and stuff,
Classic
right?
Burning Crusade finally launched, there were indeed a few forum threads where dedicated players extensively debated the actual feasibility of such a peculiar build on live realms. Some, in particular on twink characters or low-level alts, genuinely undertook similar experimental attempts.
A twink character is like a maxed out character for battlegrounds. Basically, like you level up to level 90, 59, 39 to be like in the max level of your battleground threshold, and then you max, like you get like all the best gear. All the best gear to basically like demolish and destroy everyone in this in battlegrounds.
But alas, this entire concept remains a dream for fans of unconventional builds. But you know, it's not all bad. Okay, we didn't quite see a functioning spell power rogue. However, warriors who geared for spirit were definitely a thing. First off, warriors in vanilla WoW generally had a tough time sustaining themselves. They lacked any innate self-healing abilities, forcing them to carry stacks of food and constantly heal up after every skirmish. They also relied heavily on bandages and faced difficulties in multi-target encounters. In short, the self-healing aspect alone presented considerable challenges. But players came up with a solution: gearing for spirit. Normally, spirit governs mana and health regeneration. Since warriors don't use mana, it only affects their health regeneration. Theoretically, if a sufficient amount of spirit gear was acquired, warriors could achieve substantial, strong, out-of-combat healing. Trolls deserve a special mention here, as their racial ability, Regeneration, allows for 10% of their normal health regeneration to occur even during combat. Theoretically, this could even be useful in battles. However, it's obvious that by building such a spec, players sacrificed almost everything else in terms of combat effectiveness. Developers certainly didn't intend for anyone to prioritize a stat crucial for healers and casters on a warrior. While it's possible to carry a spare set of spirit gear for healing purposes and experiment.
This is pure despair and fucking like vanilla. Like people are like, no, I cannot fucking like do this anymore. I need to fucking, I want to fucking like be able to fight 2 dudes and not fucking having to fucking take a 20-minute break to fucking heal my wounds, right? And say, well, I guess.
By various players showed it could be quite good, healing up to 500 health per tick. It wasn't exactly convenient to constantly swap gear. Nevertheless, rare enthusiasts and madmen who utilized this set did exist. One notable individual in this context was a player named Massey, who assembled a full spirit gear set and went on to test it in various scenarios. For instance, in Alterac Valley, the set was sufficient to nullify a significant portion of damage from enemy DOT effects. After standard duels, his remarkably high regeneration could often astound opponents. He even managed to get into a raid group. When other players witnessed his highly unusual warrior, it caused, to say the least, shock among the raid members. But it was certainly fun, and demonstrated that, in some niche situations, such an armor set could indeed prove useful. Vanilla WoW generally spawned many insane and unconventional builds. An unusual yet, I think, relatively well-known spec was the Palm Pyro Mage. Perhaps its popularizer back in the old days was a French player known as Gagon. He was a mage who published highlight videos showcasing his PvP encounters.
Oh yeah, like basically like the whole spec is about like we used to call them Kiku Pyros. Like because basically like Kiku Pyro mages, and basically like there were mages that like will spec just for to one shot you with their fucking like pyroblast, and Kiku means it was like hello, like basically like not like hello, but like more like childish, like the fucking like uh kitty maids, you know, like because like basically there were it was players that were like playing maids just to fucking like use the instant pyroblast and destroy you instantly or almost instantly, and then like finish you with like another instant spell, and basically like they will, and then they go on standby because like no more spell because basically the whole spec was about like maxing out this instant pyro damage, you know. And basically like we used to call them Kiku Pyro mages.
In the open world. In several of these, he employed a very interesting and often surprising strategy. The core of the Palm Pyro build is maximizing Pyroblast's power to deal as much burst damage as possible, even at the cost of utility. This tactic excelled in short fights, often killing enemies in a single blow with enough luck and good gear. It worked especially well with surprise or a timely polymorph to control the target. However, in longer battles, the build struggled due to its heavy reliance on burst damage. The build itself is still quite...
It's more that like you base your like the whole build was based on one cooldown, and once the cooldown is on cooldown, well, you don't have much left. That's what happens.
Viable today, and it's not hard to find recent highlight clips of players effectively applying it in Classic WoW, both in the open world and in Battlegrounds. Classic Pandaria is coming very soon. However, just over a year ago, Blizzard already tried bringing Pandaria back with a new twist, and it led to absolute chaos. During that relaunch, players could collect threads that permanently enhanced their character stats. On paper, the idea sounded fantastic. By the end of the temporary Pandaria Remix event, every player would effectively become a demigod. In practice, however, it resulted in curious situations, broken builds, and even player drama. Due to the unique scaling mechanics of the event, low-level players unexpectedly became speedrunners. These players intentionally did something that in almost all other circumstances would seem counterproductive. They didn't pay for a Warcraft subscription. When you don't have a subscription, you can play on a limited free character up to level 20. After reaching level 20, you can't level up further until you pay for a subscription. However, the core feature of Pandaria Remix, gaining permanent stats by collecting threads, continued to work regardless of subscription status. Because of the level differential and unique scaling, a hypothetical 1000 units of speed would provide a much larger percentage increase to a level 20 player than to a level 90 player. Once this phenomenon became widely known,
this is actually this is the beauty of the fucking like tryhards. They always fucking like find a way to fucking like like make game developers like go on suicide watch. Like this is so fucking fun. Like this is so legends.
Level 20 twinks became veritable monsters. They were capable of soloing bosses in seconds and dispatching hordes of enemies with virtually no sense of danger. Monks and demon hunters were particularly popular choices for these twinks, partly due to their inherent survivability and partly because of their exceptional mobility. their accumulated stats reached truly insane values. These twinks were used for various purposes. Some used them to quickly power level friends or other alts, rapidly clearing characters through dungeons. When Blizzard even introduced free play weekends, players were advised not to log on to their level 20 characters lest they accidentally gain a level, which would negate the entire strategy's purpose. Others, as discussed in previous videos about builds, used them for speedruns or breaking dungeons. Sometimes this even turned into a competition. Someone boasted about clearing Temple of the Jade Serpent in 1 minute. Soon after, another player emerged who did much faster. Before that, they had already managed to beat their own records multiple times. Mogushan Palace was cleared in 33 seconds, and Scholomance in a mere 12. Of course, this often involved exploiting out-of-bounds areas and glitches, but it looked truly epic. Overall, it was a real golden age.
Yeah, just like basically speed running. Like it's not technically like legit for like to do it for the game, but like within the speed running community, it's actually a fun thing to do. So yeah.
For level 20 twinks. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the balance in Pandaria Remix generally defied logic, and this kind of fun was abundant. In several expansion, twinks of pre-max levels gain a certain degree of popularity. In Legion, it was level 101 twinks. In some cases, they were so powerful that players were literally speedrunning dungeons with their help. And when Battle for Azeroth came around, it was time for a new generation to rise. Due to the peculiar scaling mechanics that existed even on regular realms, twinks at levels 110 and 111 gained noticeable popularity during that expansion. But what was the appeal? Wouldn't it make more sense to level up to the cap, 120, and enjoy all the advantages of endgame content? Surprisingly, no. In certain scenarios, these lower-level twinks actually outperformed fully leveled 120 characters, largely because they could equip exceptionally powerful gear that scaled better at lower levels. So what did that look like in practice? Take warriors, for instance. With the right gear and optimization, they could reach a baseline movement speed of 180%, something practically unheard of at max level. One particularly dedicated player even managed to hit 194% movement speed, and with the addition of temporary buffs, enchantments, consumables, and engineering gadgets, some setups allowed for burst speeds approaching 400%. Though only briefly.
Basically a
Still,
SPX.
in practical terms, it meant that on foot, these twinks were untouchable. Chasing them down was out of the question. They were in a league of their own. Many players preferred to use Dark Iron Dwarves as their main race, not for their intimidating looks, but because of a racial passive that granted an additional 4% speed, so it making them a good choice for fast-moving twinks. Still, insane movement builds were also achievable on other classes and races, particularly on highly mobile demon hunters. The practical use of these builds often came from farming communities who wanted to clear old dungeons quickly for transmog, mounts, or other loot. For similar reasons, twinks were even used for things like boosting other players or completing island expeditions in Battle for Azeroth. In those cases though, the focus wasn't just on speed, but also on maximizing damage. For a while, running Freehold became especially popular with characters like these. Some demon hunters were able to solo entire packs of mobs with little effort, so it wasn't uncommon during the early patches of the expansion to see players who hadn't even reached max level clearing island expeditions, or boosting others. How did it work? Once again, it all revolved around acquiring the best possible gear. Players used a combination of Legion legendaries and artifacts. Some provided speed boosts, like Agramar's Stride, while others simply enhanced different stats. One highly recommended legendary was Aman'Thul's Vision. Back in Legion, players were limited in how many legendaries they could equip, but this trinket didn't count toward that limit. That meant players could equip 2 legendaries plus this one. The downside? It had an absurdly low drop rate from the final raid of Legion and Taurus, the Burning Throne. Still, guides for twinks often recommended farming Mythic and Taurus to get top-tier gear. The rest of the slots were to be filled with the best available items. Sometimes even crafted or quest gear from Battle for Azeroth worked well. There were some minor differences between level 110 and 111 twinks, but those weren't especially important. Naturally, Azerite gear and traits were used as well, though it's hard to single out specific pieces. The builds varied. At some point, the number of twinks offering dungeon boost services grew significantly, helping clients level up much faster. In patch 8.2, the developers noticed this trend. To address it, they released a nerf that disrupted the boosting market. If one of these twinks with XP turned off ended up in a group by accident, say, through the group finder, nothing bad happened. You could say the group got lucky. But if such a twink was deliberately invited, the rest of the group would receive drastically reduced experience gains. Even so, these characters still had their uses. At the very least, farming old dungeons for loot, mounts, or transmog remained a viable and popular activity.
Yeah, this was interesting. This was actually surprising. Mm, let me just. Okay.
Guys.
Okay. Let's check out wait. Right. Okay, let's get into the anime universe. And yeah.
With isekai. At this point I've seen guys. I think I'm done with isekai. At this point I've seen it all. Isekai with power fantasies, economics, politics, using swords, smartphones, where the protagonist
Gigak will never be done with isekais. Like, this dude is so fucking cursed loving isekais. Poor him. Poor
is
him.
reincarnated as a slime, vending machine, even a goddamn hot spring. For the longest time, isekai was just my comfort food, something I could just turn my brain off and enjoy while using as few neurons as possible. Yeah, I knew it was unhealthy junk food, but sometimes you just want to indulge in something that feels familiar. But eventually, I've come to realize that as good as it tastes, eating too much McDonald's is detrimental to my health. So anyway, I started eating KFC. Regression is a very popular genre in Korean manhwa and is the latest landfill dumpster rabbit hole I have once again fallen into. The genre is to manhwa what isekai is to anime and manga, and is about as equally detrimental to my health. Now, if you don't know what manhwa is, well, it's kinda like manga, except it's spelled like this. And it comes from Korea.
Okay, so manhwas are basically like mangas that are, firstly, it is like really, really, really fucking popular. Really fucking popular on online. Like if you watch like if you know about like Shonen Jump, basically like manhwas are like more popular, I think, in smartphone versions than they are in paper versions, and they are all colored. This is the big difference between a manga and a manhwa. Like so yeah, like yeah. Other than that, it's indeed from Korea, and they have like different themes, and basically Tower of God is and if you want to get an idea, Tower of God and Soul Leveling comes from manhwas, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Solo Leveling and Tower of Power. Tower of God. Tower of God. Basically, these are both like manhwas, so You heard about Tower of God, you heard about solo leveling. They do not actually come from mangas, they actually come from manhwas. If you saw this, saw the quality of these animes, well, basically it comes from Korea. It doesn't come from fucking Japan. Hell yeah. And you can take the manhwas, it's all in color compared to, I think that like compared to to mangas, they make mangas more accessible because colors, because oh my god, like I try to get into like mangas and stuff because I love anime. No colors, no colors, I cannot fucking invent them, like fuck that. Like this is the reason I'm not reading many mangas. Like, but manhwas, they're all colored, they all look fucking like dope, and yeah, you should check it out if you actually never did.
And a lot of it is way worse than what you can find in manga.
Look at this dude.
But you know where that last point doesn't matter as much? Trashy power fantasy stories where the main character becomes OP for some contrived reason that I just can't help myself from consuming. Hi, my name's Giguk, and I have an addiction. This is a genre that hits all the same notes that got me addicted to isekai in the first place, while feeling just different enough that it still feels fresh. Or, in other words, it might not be your OP protagonist in a fantasy world isekai story, but you know what?
Let me just real quick.
And it comes from Korea.
Fuck. All right. Okay.
It sure does smell awfully familiar. So if you continually question your life choices like I do, but want something a little different to dive into other than the same isekai-filled dumpster truck, allow me to introduce you to regression. Because if you think your isekai brain rot was as bad as it could get, allow me to show you that your dedication to trashy stories can go beyond a single genre, a single medium, and now beyond a single nation. But first, ad time. Before we continue, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Asus ROG. Do you like to game? Are you dissatisfied that you can't game everywhere you go? Or are you a content creator like me and just want to create content everywhere and anywhere you are? Well, fear not, gamers, because Asus have just released the new 2024 ROG Zephyrus G16 gaming laptop for all your gaming and content creation needs. 2024 ROG Zephyrus laptops are amazing for both gamers and content creators alike. With their Intel Core Ultra 9 processor 185H and an up to NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 GPU, what you can accomplish on these things feels practically limitless. Its ROG Nebula OLED panel with G-Sync support also gives me a crystal clear display with a 2.5K resolution, 240Hz refresh rate, 0.2 millisecond response time, and 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio for my long sessions. While the ROG intelligent cooling, liquid metal, improved heat pipes, and tri-fans with second-gen arc flow fans or liquid chamber keep this powerhouse nice and cool. That was a lot of big words and numbers, but what I like is this slick lighting on the back that lets people know you are a gamer. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, this is one of my favorite parts of the laptop. It's light and thin at less than 2 kilograms and enough of a powerhouse to handle the load whether I need to edit or even stream on it. It's good for gamers and content creators. So, what are you waiting for? If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line laptop, this is the one you need, and this is the one I'm going to be using now. So check that link in the description below to get yours today. Thank you very much to Asus ROG for sponsoring this video, and back to whatever I'm talking about. Alright, first off, what the hell is regression? Imagine a trope that feels awfully similar to what you get to see in isekai, but instead of seeing someone getting transported to another world and living their fantasy there, the protagonist gets transported back in time to an earlier point in their lives with all the knowledge of future events intact. Sometimes it's a one-off leap, and sometimes they can regress back as many times as they want with certain conditions. If that sounds familiar to you, it's because, well, it's not exactly a concept we haven't seen before. Tokyo Revengers and Erased are basically a story about two different regressors, and hell, ReZero and Summertime Render's time loop is essentially just a regression mechanic. But now, we're just setting the bar too high. The big difference is a lot of regression manhwa tend to focus on the protagonist using their knowledge of the future as a sort of new game plus approach to their lives. Some use their knowledge to correct past mistakes in their lives or get a revenge of some sort. Most others use it to become really OP in whatever world they're in. Probably a fantasy world with video game elements. Like I said, different trash, same smell. So in that case, the first anime title that comes to mind is... Oh, this doesn't look good for me at all. But, like Isekai, there are a lot of regression titles out there. Some are the same copy-paste titles you've seen a million times before. Some actually use the core concept in different ways. So, with more manhwa not only getting adaptations, but becoming some of the most popular anime of the season, and some actual regression manhwa adaptations starting to sneak in through the cracks, like A Returner's Magic Should Be Special, I think this is a genre we are only going to see more of in the future. Alright, you've piqued my curiosity. So, where do I start? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. The original plan was that I was gonna run through a bunch of titles, then I realized halfway through writing about the 10th regression with a fantasy backdrop, video game-esque abilities, a dungeon crawling structure with a big mysterious tower to climb, my fucking mind was starting to regress back to pee-pee-poo-poo age. So instead, what I'm gonna do is just speed run through some titles in different categories and focus on a few that really stood out to me. This way, I could show you some of my favorites and prove that not every regression manhwa is a fantasy series where the main character can regress and get super OP because of it. So, let's start with fantasy manhwa, where the main character can regress and get super OP because of it. Look, it wouldn't be a proper introduction without starting off with a series like this, okay? Like looking at Isekai and seeing the same copy and paste Sword Art Online clones, going through manhwa can feel like reading 1,000 different iterations of solo leveling, except hey, this time the main character can also regress. Leveling with the gods is essentially just that exactly, but is one I actually think was executed half decently. The Swordmaster's son shows the rise of the youngest son in a family that's the equivalent of the Swordmaster version of the Zoldyck family. Kill the Hero details a good old revenge story where the protagonist levels up to kill the hero that originally killed him. Doombreaker, Volcanic Age, Infinite Level Up in Murim. If I were to continue, we'd be sitting here to the end of One Piece. So the series I actually want to talk about is SSS Class Revival Hunter. Not to be confused with my S-Class Hunters, the SSS Rank Hunters Lucky Draw, Civil Servant Hunters S-Class Resignation Log, but is
what the fuck?
confused with SSS Class Suicide Hunter, which is the other name for the series.
What the fuck?
Fucking great start. Honestly, after seeing this title, I went into the series with half my brain turned off in fear that using over 10 neurons would hamper my enjoyment of it. But lo and behold, this had some of the most fantastic storytelling I could find in the genre, which is a fucking shocker because this is like having a light novel titled Reborn as the Weakest Mage that became the strongest dickhead thanks to his cheat skill in another world, and it turning out to be the Citizen Kane of Isekai. After a mysterious tower appears and people from all over the world gather to enter it and yada yada yada, you know how it goes. There are monsters on every floor, people get special skills when they enter, and anyone who tries to climb the floors and hunt the monsters are called hunters, like the Flame Emperor, the top ranked hunter. He has wealth, fame, power, and all that shit they say in the One Piece opening. Women want to be with him. Guys want to be him, which is exactly how our protagonist, Gongja, feels. A lowly F-ranked hunter whose only SSS class ability seems to be shitposting. He just like me for real. Out of nowhere though, the power grants him his first S-ranked ability, a power that allows him to copy any skill other people have. The catch? He can only copy the skills of anyone who kills him. And, oh, it only activates after he's already dead. Dejected at gaining a skill he'll never be able to use, he accidentally runs into the Flame Emperor and finds out that in person he is, how do I say this? A bit of a shit cunt. Gongja gets senselessly murdered by the dude, but as it turns out, the Flame Emperor has a skill that allows him to travel back in time exactly 24 hours every time he dies, which is the exact skill he needs not only to prevent his own death, but also make use of the one skill he has. Oh wow, would you look at that? What a coincidence. Who could have guessed this could ever happen? After waking up with his newfound powers, he decides to take revenge, so he travels back in time to a point before the Flame Emperor awoke his powers by offing himself 4,090 times. Yes, you heard that right. 4,090 times. This
is what I call
so much
tryhard.
Change his pronouns to was/were. But after the real meat of the story comes when he uses his newfound ability to climb floors, become one of the most respected hunters in the land, and uncover the secrets behind this mysterious tower. Alright, I'm gonna be real here. I know the plot synopsis makes this sound like the most generic, trashy regression manhwa you can find, because it absolutely is. At the beginning. But as you continue, you come to realize that this is not the generic trashy show you expected it to be. With a lot of these dungeon crawling manhwa, the formula is pretty set in stone. You go up floors, everyone encounters a progressively more powerful monster, everyone wonders how the hell we're gonna defeat it, main character swoops in, saves the day, powers up. Hey, it worked for solo leveling, it can work another 10,000 other times, right? But what sets Revival Hunter apart is the level of world building and different clear conditions when it comes to every floor. Instead of feeling like a dungeon, each floor is more akin to a different world with its own people, conflict, and hardships. Every stage is so thematically different and presents a different philosophy that Gongja has to face, and he never comes out the same person as when he entered. On the surface, it seems obvious what needs to be done to clear each floor, but as you dig deeper in each world, you realize there is far more going on underneath. This is honestly more reminiscent to seeing Luffy travel to different islands.
Yeah, I've seen like solo leveling. It feels like he talks about solo leveling the whole fucking time.
And resolving the different conflicts he encounters. But where the regression comes in is seeing Gongja's unwavering commitment to giving each world the one thing he thinks every player.
Like literally, like it sound like if you watch solo leveling, it sounds like solo level. It sounds like it talks about solo leveling for like the past like 5 minutes. But it's not solo leveling. What the fuck? And people complaining. We're complaining about like some anime tropes that like were a little bit too abundant. It's like, I mean, I trust this word that it must be good, but like on this one, like what I hear is that like he also watched solo leveling, huh?
Deserves a happy ending. And to do that, he will retry the floor as many times as he needs to get the conclusion he wants. While Subaru is out here learning in Season 2 that maybe he shouldn't be relying on his return by death ability so much, Gongja saw one low-tier god video and thought it was a Mr. Beast challenge. 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times optimizing every little path, getting a better understanding of every single person, spending more time to truly empathize with the struggles of every floor before coming up with his own resolution. It's never about beating the final boss. It's about giving the characters in the world the closure they need, no matter how much suffering it takes to get there. If you have enough patience to get to floor 21, or the mirror mark of this story, you'll be able.
God fucking damn it, like it sounds like he talks about fucking solo leveling. Like the different pictures, but like solo leveling, really nice. You should watch it. No, you should definitely watch it, but like oh the fuck is this not solo leveling?
What makes this series special? This is where the series truly comes into its own, with some of the most beautiful storytelling I've seen in this genre. Normally with these videos, I like to save the best till last, but I'll just go out and say that this was my favorite regression manhwa I've ended up reading so far. I came in looking for trash and I somehow ended up finding gold, so if you're thinking about trying any of the titles I just mentioned, this should be it. Whoa, Giguk, I thought we were trying to get off Isekai. What if I don't want another fantasy show with video game mechanics? Isn't there anything more realistic? I mean, sure, let's be real here. The first thing I'd do if I was able to regress back with my knowledge intact is maybe buy a Bitcoin, invest in some Apple stocks. Tell Justin Wong, don't do it! He's capable of parrying the super! Well, don't worry, there's a manhwa for that. Except the Justin Wong thing, that was a joke. I would never deprive gamers of the greatest moment in esports history. Past Life Returner is there. If you want a series about a guy regressing back and getting rich through hedge funds and financial investments. Medical Return takes the regression formula and puts it into a medical drama, with a doctor regressing back to fast track his medical career while making every other doctor look like a dumbass. To Be an Actor does this even better in my opinion, except with a successful actor rising up even faster to stardom again, if that one arc in Oshinoko wasn't enough to get your fix. But for a grounded regression drama, I very much enjoyed A Man's Man. Hansung, one of the biggest technology companies in Korea, has just appointed their youngest ever CEO, Yoo Yeon-hang. He has it all. Power, fame, fortune, and all that shit they say in the One Piece. Except one problem. No one he cares about gives a shit. Hated by almost everyone he's worked with after he's betrayed and backstabbed his way to the top, his wife leaves him on the day of his promotion, and to top it all off, he finds out that one of his closest ex-co-workers has just committed Jump King. So, is there really anything to celebrate about? Alone and despised, he turns to his last remaining friend. A good old bottle of Jack, baby. Yeah, that'll never betray me. Except it does. And he dies. Corporate drama with a regression twist, and while you might be able to guess how this all plays out, the first thing that stood out to me about A Man's Man is just exactly what the protagonist's regression abilities are used for. Of course, with the company's future CEO with all the knowledge he has starting from ground zero again, you know what to expect. He's gonna climb the ladder even faster, play the company politics perfectly to a T, expose all the people who were a thorn in the time he was there, and everyone around him is left dick in hand wondering how the hell a young upstart can play the corporate game so well. But while many regression manhwa however, focus solely on the protagonist finding success in whatever field they're in, Yu Yon's energy is put into making sure his entire team finds success and rising up together. He makes sure his co-workers are equally seen, ensures that the
Okay,
actual
this is
people doing the
interesting.
hard work are the ones that get the recognition and not the loudmouth bosses standing above them. This isn't a story about a man who gained success. This is a story of a man who already found success but regrets the way he got there. In a sense, there wasn't a single person responsible for the thorny path he took in his first life, but it was the result of the highly toxic work culture that the company had fostered for itself, and it's that culture that Yu Yon is really fighting against, not by completely destroying the company, but changing it from within. Yes, this is a power fantasy, but it is a power fantasy for anyone who's ever worked in a big corporation where you feel absolutely insignificant and
Like the BBC.
sometimes daydream to yourself, fuck me, if I was in charge, I'd be able to get rid of all these rotten parts I have to deal with on a daily basis, humble some of these overconfident, useless managers who don't seem to do anything, and actually run a tight ship. Put that in a setting of working in a massive electronics company with their team specializing in working for developing screens for electronic devices, right before the era where some fruit company announces this phone that you can control purely through touch, and that probably won't be relevant or anything, and you got yourself a pretty fun read. But sometimes, after reading a bunch of manhwa, you encounter a title that doesn't really belong in any category you usually see, but still goes bloody hard, like the next series, Chosu Saves the World. What would you do if you knew the end of the world was coming? Would you let it happen, make the most of the time you have left and live your best life, or would you do everything in your power to prevent it? On Earth's final day, Chosu bears witness to a giant asteroid plummeting towards our planet. Scientific organizations detected the massive rock far too late and miscalculated it to be a near miss. All attempts to destroy or divert the thing have failed. As just a normal Korean office worker, Chosu, like many other people, was completely powerless to stop this fate, and all he can do is crack open one last cold one and give one final toast as he watches the world come to an end. But we all know this is a regression story where the end is just the beginning of the end. Again, Chosu wakes up decades earlier as a kid. No mentions of any asteroid, no one panicking at the end of the world, just one lone boy armed with Windows 2000 or Microsoft Windows 2000?
At least it's not fucking Vista, you know?
Oh, we're doomed. With his knowledge alone of Earth's inevitable fate, he gathers his strength, looks up to the sky and goes, oh, that asteroid's going down. I don't want to close my eyes. I wish it was that epic. Chosu saves the world, takes the Summertime Render approach. He tries to save the world, fails, and every time he does, he wakes up 3 months past where he woke up on his previous attempt. But unlike Summertime Render, each loop is not days or weeks, but are decade-long attempts to explore the question of, is it realistically possible for a single person to save the world? Which, if you think about it, is pretty damn difficult. You might know an asteroid is coming to hit Earth, but what the fuck can you do? You're the only one who does, and you're just a bloody kid. The rest of the kids around you have just graduated from shitting their pants phase to eating boogers phase. Even if you have decades, what is the right approach to take to correct the course of history? Let's say you want to warn NASA super early that there's an asteroid coming. Well, you're just a fucking nobody who sounds like your run-of-the-mill crazy person who watched 2012 once and thought it was a documentary. Plus, they've already detected it before and thought it was going to be a near miss, remember? Do you really think they're going to take your word over their own scientific minds? Tough luck, kid. Go back to shitting your pants. Alright, well, I have decades, so how about I study astronomy and get myself into a position where I can develop anti-asteroid technology as early as possible so we'll be ready when that asteroid gets detected. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. But this raises a different issue. How do you get into a position influential enough where you can do such a thing? Where the hell are you going to get funding to pursue a project that will seem totally irrelevant until it's too late? Shall I hit up Daddy Elon to pump all his money into this instead of buying some bird website? Maybe I can convince coffee enthusiasts to use a percentage of their enthusiasm for developing a better cup of coffee into developing tech that could save humanity. And brew a cup of coffee. Loop after loop, layers get added to the plan, more problems arise that need to be overcome, time gets wasted specking into the wrong tech tree. Maybe you find out that a solution is theoretically possible, but you need to influence the technology infrastructure first to make it viable. This hits a grounded sci-fi drama itch I haven't felt since watching The Martian. Add in Armageddon with a little sprinkle of Steins Gate, and you have a title I finished in a single night. If you can keep your suspension of disbelief in check, especially in season 2, and buy into this fact that every single influential person humanity ever needed is conveniently conveniently placed in this one school, then for the most part, this was an absolutely gripping and grounded exploration of what could happen if we needed to advance our space exploration infrastructure, especially when real-life proposed solutions I could find for stopping an asteroid go something like,
how about this? The laser bees.
oh, what's this? An asteroid is on its way to destroy all life on Earth? Send out the laser bees! That pretty much sums up my introduction to regression manhwa. There is one more title I was planning to talk about that's not technically regression, but definitely takes the core appeal and spins it into its own unique thing that I feel has the potential to be the next big thing after Solar Leveling, but, you know, I think that deserves a video on its own. So, until then, I'm going to take a break from my isekai and regression brain rot for real this time, and
Okay, this was actually great. I never heard about like regression manhwas. Like, this is really, 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 really cool. This is really cool. But yeah, manhwas are getting bigger and bigger. Like, this is a good news, and I hope that we get to see more of like interesting manhwas overall. Like, mm,
We need to talk.
okay. So I saw like a recommendation for a video that's like not my usual like type of video, but like the algorithm like knows better, and you know what? Why not? Why not check it out? I have no clue what it is about, but it seems interesting. It has some like I don't fucking know, like protect your peace. What's going on? I don't know. Like, I want to know.
We need to talk about this. This is going to be a really important lesson, I think, for a lot of us. These kind of upcoming, I guess, years or maybe like era, whatever you want to call it. But stuff is changing online. A lot of things have changed and are still changing, and we are going through a very transient period of the internet's lifespan right now. And
This is really true. Like, especially with like as much as like culturally, like we go through something with social media becoming so different than it was, and having such a different role in many ways, but also the AI technologies that also became something unbelievable, and I'm pretty sure like no one expected to be so relevant so early.
I feel like the way that I've been interacting with the internet has changed a lot over the past few years. There's been a very important lesson that I have had to learn to be able to navigate the internet at this day and age. I've decided to leave pretty much all social medias, and that was a really, really impactful decision for improving my mental health. The only platform that I'm really on at this point is YouTube, and I, occasionally go on like Instagram to post something or to respond to a message. But for the most part, I am pretty much exclusively far away from the social media culture at this point. And the reason why I made the decision for myself in the first place, even though it has obviously a pretty negative impact for me in terms of like being able to grow my online presence.
Yeah, as a content creator, like fucking like it's better to do it all. But like yeah, from a personal standpoint, like I'd say like if you have like your group of people that you care about, get the fuck out this fucking hellscape and enjoy your life while you fucking can with people that are actually fucking there, like.
As like a YouTuber, it would be a lot easier if I was on these social medias kind of like cross-posting or whatever. But that is because I had to teach myself to protect my peace. This is such an important thing on the internet these days, is to know how to protect your peace. So this is not going to be a Minecraft related video, but there will be some Minecraft footage in the background. But I wanted to post it specifically on this channel because I honestly just feel like it's important enough where I want you guys specifically on this channel.
The literally 100 100% exclusive Minecraft channel.
Because I honestly just feel like it's important enough where I want you guys all to see it. I can't really pinpoint to you when this change began, but for a while now, the way we interact with
It's a great, it's like, I think it's a great, like, decision. Like, if you care enough about your viewers and if you care enough about like people around you to actually fucking do that, you know, like, because technically like these videos, like it could like actually put up like become a problem to your channel if you become like too opinionated or like so there's always like this risk when you go fucking like do YouTube, whereas I do content creation, social media and stuff, because overall like giving your opinion is not playing games and like, but it's great that like you choose to fucking like care about others rather than caring about like some fucking like metrics on a fucking like website, you know?
internet, I feel, has shifted and changed a lot. In the past, everyone would describe the internet as an escape from reality. It's a place where we would feel like we could be safe, and it would be a safe place for a lot of us. It would be a place where we can find other people like us. And
this is actually true. And what's fun is that like a place where we can find people, other people like us. During the early era of the internet, it was the case. It was the case. People were like really different during like, so I do like WoW content. I used to play WoW during when it got released, right? So 2004, 5, 6, 7, right? And people during this era were actually really highly social and really like there wasn't like this fucking like degenerates that like, and overall these degenerate, like it wasn't this extreme. People were like, I was like a fucking like 12 13-year old like talking to people on the internet. Like I got mocked a couple times because like I remember I got mocked a couple times because I had that pitchy voice. I was talking like this because I was a kid, right? And but I never had any fucking weirdos or problems or whatever the fuck. And overall, the internet was a safe place, and you, by playing games, you could socialize really easily with people. People were searching for connection, like, and where connection was able to be made, it was like easy. Now I actually uh like nowadays I actually try to fucking like socialize the good old way, because the good old like back in the day, because like this is how I grew up, right? And basically like I told myself, yeah, well, back in like life didn't change this much. It fucking did. Like going into Discord servers, getting into new games, even social, seeing games that are seen as socials, like social, such as like MMORPGs and stuff. It became like so different and so like, it's not that it's not inclusive. It's just like people just like overall mentalities and view of the space and view of the world really changed, and it became really difficult to connect with other people, even as a gamer, just wanting to like find people that play games with, to play games with, you know. And yeah, like this changed and this will never come back, like, because like there was like this part of really innocence that like back in the day we all had. If you're a veteran on the online, you know what I mean, like the good old like fucking like Halo, Call of Duty fucking like games where like people were talking, and it was like, it wasn't this like fucking like, I don't know, oppressive or like aggressive, or like just like, it was just this, everyone was a casual, basically. Everyone was a casual and everyone was a newbie, you know. And because of that, like everyone was really innocent in their way to interact with people, in their way to play with each other, and it was really a fun time that will never go back. You can find people like this, but now you need to search for them. And basically the answer is that like it still exists technically, but you really need to do like a groundwork and basically like keep searching until you find. It's not like I used to, like I lived it when I was like a teenager, where you would log in into lobbies and make friends like that, and sometimes friends for life, man. Like my friend, like sometimes friends for life. And this was like really like what it was all about, the internet back in the day, friend. You know? So yeah.
To find friends and to find community and to watch videos that made us laugh or made us happy. The internet just felt so different back then. It felt like such a positive and optimistic place in a lot of ways. And of course, it was never perfect, but I'm sure that most of us can agree that for a while it was a very different place, and it was a place where we could actually feel at peace in a lot of ways. And lately, I don't really feel that way about the internet anymore, and I find myself constantly having to scroll back through the internet's history to actually find that sense of comfort and safety again. And what I mean by this is I have to resort to watching things that are like 6, 7, 10, 12 years old now on YouTube, because that sort of those sort of videos were just a lot more like simple and just lighthearted and
Yeah, exactly. Lighthearted
not
is the
trying
term.
to grab your attention all the time. Whereas now,
And it wasn't like this fucking like weaponized and just like merchandised, and I don't know, like just like it wasn't like this fucking like it wasn't so monetized. Like people were just doing stuff because they liked it, and there wasn't like a money grab after that. And a lot of YouTubers that like are still like that became like really like big right now did like that were like already doing YouTube back in the day. They were doing videos just because they like to do videos. As I kept on doing, and then they learned that like you can actually make money out of it, and basically they were like already like on top of like their own legacy, because like basically like all the stuff that they did, well basically like it paid off, because like it became like something that they can live off from.
nowadays, a lot of the videos that I get recommended on my homepage is like that. It's always trying to steal something from you, it feels like. Either your attention or your money or your time or your sanity by feeding you just this crap. It's like a bombardment.
Strangely enough, she's right about sanity. Like some videos that I get recommended are just like, bro, like what the fuck is wrong? Like, I don't want to fucking like feel worse by going on the by following your recommendation, by following the recommendations of the algorithm. Why the fuck? Like sometimes I get recommended like the most fucked up like things that are like really like catering to me, like basically like I don't fucking know, like just suppress things, you know. And it's just like, yeah, it caters to me, like the algorithm is right, but it's like I want to be happy, fuck you. Like
freaking pain and anger and sadness, and like it's just so overwhelming. And no matter how many times I've had to scrub my homepage of these sort of videos, they would always come back. They would always seep themselves back into my suggestions, even though I'm telling the platform over and over again, do not recommend me these types of videos. And they would just keep doing it over and over again. And it's so hard to escape from these sort of videos because they just get pushed because they're the most attention grabbing ones. And it's incredibly harmful to watch this type of content on a daily basis. And it's so much worse, I feel like, on other platforms like TikTok or Instagram or any like short form content sort of platform, because you are just being fed this repetitively. You have no say or choice in what sort of video you will be watching.
this is true, and one of the problems is it's a question of education. Do you understand what that you're getting fed, you know, information? Do you understand what it means to you, you know, like because like this will change you as a person, like this might, you know. Sometimes it don't, like you don't know, like depends on the person, but like if you don't fucking know that like it might like it might be able to change you, or it might be that you're getting like fed these informations. Well, it's really different to actually understanding it and actually choosing to scroll, you know. Like it's kind of like, I don't know, taking like I don't know, taking a strange product, not knowing what it is, while or knowing or taking the same strange product willingly, because while knowing what it is, knowing that it's harmful, you know.
In that very moment, you scroll and you have no control over what you are being shown, and that is scary to me because if you are on these sort of platforms, think about how many things you wish you could unsee, things that you have no reason, no business watching, because it doesn't serve you in any way, it doesn't do you any good. If anything, you either forget about it the second later, or it'll stay with you for way too long because it hurt you in some way. And I am so tired of seeing these sort of videos and these sort of like this content on the internet. It's like, it's so sickening in a way. The internet was once an escape from reality, but nowadays I find myself having to escape from the internet back into the real world. I have to remind myself to go out.
But maybe it's a good thing. Like, let's think about it. Like, if the fucking internet becomes like such a fucking hellscape, like it makes people like consider going back to the fucking like real world. Maybe it went full circle, and actually it will make the life of like people better, because like as much as like some people are like some people are there some people are there because they like it. Some people will be better off fucking like leaving this fucking like place and just like enjoying what they have like in this world, the real world, you know.
Outside and just tell myself like the internet is a separate place. This is not reality. This is not what reality is, and remind myself that the real world exists out there and it is mostly fine, it is mostly normal, and we are all just living our lives like regular people. But the thing is that the internet is not just crap now. It's not all bad. There is still so much good out there. And I know that because I find that sort of stuff. I'm constantly on the lookout for really good content and videos and photos and just things on the internet that are being made by real people, by passionate, creative, wonderful people. Like, specifically talking about on YouTube, I'm constantly on the lookout for small creators, new creators, people who have something fun or interesting to share and to bring out into the world. And there are so many amazing people like that that are still around. But the thing is, it is so much harder to find them these days because they are not what's being pushed anymore. It is mostly this rage bait, clickbait, like just content that's supposed to steal something from you. This is like scamming on a whole new level because you don't really even realize it. But yeah, I would consider all of these sort of trending videos that are just completely maddening. It's a scam to me because they are just taking things from you and you are not gaining anything out of it. It's stealing your time, your attention, your money, your peace. You need to protect your peace. This is a skill that we all have to learn to be able to navigate the internet.
And this is true, and the problem is that like it's more complicated than, and well, if she has to fucking like tell you about it and you never fucking thought about it, and maybe it's like not the fucking easiest thing to fucking do. If she, I can tell you that like it's not like it is something that people must be educated about, or else it will be trial and error and good luck. And to be honest, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but like this is what will happen for most people: trial and error and good luck. For some it will be great, for some it will be fucking awful. And why? Because while we understand like the internet and like all the intricacies that like it does to you, to your life, etc., 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 like we barely have a clue, and people who have a clue is actually like are like within it and like kind of like suffering like the consequences of like it doesn't matter, like it has it, like even knowing like it still has an impact on you. So yeah, it's like, so protecting your peace, yeah, how? Good luck finding out, because it depends on everyone. And overall, like what she said is true. Like what she said is interesting. Maybe if yeah, maybe if the internet like becomes such a fucking scary place and just like fucked up place, it might like fucking save people by just making them leave and save themselves from like this fucking like I don't know, like doom scrolling error, you know, like that people fucking like got into, you know.
Internet right now and probably in the future, because I don't really know how the internet is going to look like in just a year or two from now, let alone 5-10 years. Who knows, right? But right now so many things are changing, and this is a very important skill to learn. Protect your peace. Do not let the internet take control of your mind. First of all, remember that this is not a reflection of reality. This is such a curated fake place. Even just me talking to the camera right now, this is a very controlled environment. I had to sit here and plan my thoughts and look presentable or whatever, and I'm like, this is obviously not a reflection of my life, but let alone the whole internet, right? That's a whole different level of pretty much fakeness. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems, and that goes for real life, and that also goes for the internet. A lot of the things that you see out there, no matter how believable they may be, there will always be another layer underneath that you will not see. There is so much good out there, but you need to know how to.
I think it's true, but like it's not an absolute. Like, not everything is a fucking trap at the end of the day. Not everything is like out to fucking get you, you know? Because like this is like, but this might be because like she suffered from it. But like not everything is out to fucking get you. Like while I agree that like with what she says, like I don't think that like thinking that I don't think that like absolutes are like a good way to think about things. But like not everything is a trap, not everything is not a trap, right? But at the same time, you get me. Like like some things are just nice, you know? Like some things are just nice, and the world is not out to get you. It's just the way that the world functions right now that makes it sometimes look like so, seem like so, but it's not the case. It's more the organization and the programming of the whole fucking like internet space and social space nowadays that makes it look like this, and that makes it really like hostile to people. But it is not like, but there is no one like out to fucking get you as we speak, you know, like unless you like. So it's important to kind of like know the difference. Yeah, most people, most fucking like ads are scams and most like stuff, but at the same time, like it's really like bad for your for your psychological health and mental health to fucking think that like everything is against you, you know? Like not everything is against you. Not everyone is trying to fucking sell your product, and not everyone is just trying to fucking like suck the life out of you or hurt you. There are like some people, but like not everyone. Like just think about it this way: do you really think that like you see the people on the fucking internet? Not everyone. Like, do you think that like people are so diabolical? Like, and I'm talking like even about like fucking like important people, important event. Like people are not like these diabolical people ever that people think that they are. You know, might it be people, organizations, whatever the fuck. Like the world is not out to get you. People are not that fucking insane or that fucking like dark and like fucked up, you know? Like, but the way everything is programmed and the way like the way social life within the internet and these days is organized make can make you feel so, but it's completely a conspiration. Like and that it's a conspiration that like that people like are so evil that they conspire against other people. Some people are bad, right? But like there is no like this fucking diabolical fucking massive masterminds leader of the world understanding of everything that like are coming up after you, you know? Like like take the time to fucking think who the fuck could fucking do that, and who the fuck will actually choose to fucking do that if they were like this fucking like talented, you know? Like I don't fucking know. Like, maybe I'm wrong about this, and maybe there's someone out to get you. Actually, like, but I don't think so, to be honest.
Find it because it's becoming increasingly harder to navigate this place in a healthy way. You have to learn how to protect yourself from all the bad stuff that's going on and focus on the good. Not all of us can sit here for hours on end and handle a barrage of just negativity. It's everywhere. It's in the comments, it's in the videos, it's in the photos, it's in the news. It's inescapable. And that is not healthy. It's not normal. You should not feel like you have to take on all of this burden that the world and the internet is pushing onto you. It's not your responsibility. You do not have to be aware of every single problem
This is
in
true.
the world. That is feasibly impossible and totally unrealistic for anyone. So if you feel so deeply that you need to step away, do so. If you feel like your feeds are
Absolutely.
being completely bombarded with negativity and it's affecting your mental state, you need to step away. You need to learn how to block things, how to block people, how to disable things, and how to tell the algorithms that you are not interested in this type of content. Because with enough pushback, you can make a positive change for your environment.
Yeah, you need to educate yourself that you can cater yourself that, and like I think that like what people should fucking like try to fucking get out of is this fucking need for this fucking like thrilling content, because usually this fucking thrilling content like high, like I don't fucking know, high stakes or like important, like dangerous, kind of like edgy content. It's edgy content that people are after, and it's usually fucking negative and stuff like that, and people just like need to fucking get out of it, and they'll discover a fucking life that like they do not know about, you know. And when it comes to social media, you can like discover a fucking like algorithm that is actually like working for you, like serving you in a way that like never shows you like anything that is like fucking like that will ruin your day, that will make your life worse, you know. But it's an algorithm. You need to work for that if you fucking like trained it to fucking like show you nasty stuff, you know, show you fucked up stuff.
YouTube, what I have to do over and over again is tell YouTube that I'm not interested in certain types of videos. Usually this would just be anything super like rage baity or commentary-ish, things that are drama related or like talking about the state of the world in some sort of way. Because most of the time these videos are really not helpful to you as a person in any way. Sure, you may be more informed about something. In most cases, for most people, like it's completely pointless to know these sort of things. And I'm not saying to be completely like shut off to the world and like live under a rock, but you need to know your limit and you need to find like a balance for yourself that's actually reasonable, because you can't expect to give anything to anyone or to fight any sort of cause if you don't even have enough to fight for yourself. You need to prioritize yourself before you can prioritize anyone else. If you're on YouTube and you're tired of seeing negative content, please do yourself a favor. Click those 3 dots, click not interested, click hide this channel, like don't show this channel to me anymore. Do what you have to do to protect yourself, because honestly, I'm sick and tired of seeing these types of.
And this is the best advice that she can give you, and that I agree with. Do the fucking work to fucking like, no one will fucking like help you to fucking not get hurt. No one fucking cares. No one fucking knows. It's your own life. It's your private life. It's your intimate life. And unless you really strive to search for help, no one will fucking do it for you. So do it yourself. While it's not too late. While it didn't ruin you, you know?
Videos over and over again, I don't really gain anything from them. If anything, they just leave me.
And this is work, but like your life will improve if you actually fucking stop like just like think about it this way, you know, like if you watch videos about, like if you watch consume content that is all about like negativity, drama, high stakes, and let's say like I don't fucking know, like thrilling things, right? Well, do you think your life improve if you actually like feed yourself, consume media that is mostly like talking about negative or like sad feelings, right? Negative or sad feelings, right? how does it improve your life, like for the better or for worse? And I think about like watch like having like only consuming content that talks about like positivity, like happy feelings. How does it improve your life? Obviously it does. And basically like the whole work is just like binary at this point, where it's just like remove the fucked up stuff, remove the negativity, and just consume like healthy, like just like innocent stuff that like doesn't fucking hurt anyone and doesn't fucking leave you fucking like shaking, because like you just like learn this stuff that like will not will make you made your day completely like strange, or like change your mood completely, you know?
Feeling so bad afterwards. A lot of times, these sort of videos completely change my whole day, because when I go on like a little
Here you go. Exactly.
watching spree of just weird negative drama, weird commentary that is about this bad thing that's happening. These sort of videos, they may be entertaining, but they ultimately leave me feeling a lot worse, and that follows me throughout the entire day. And I feel like I can't even move on from it until the next day starts. So it's like my whole day is gonna be like off-put and ruined because of this stuff that I chose to consume that day, that sort of content and media that I chose to watch. And it's taught me to really, really be careful with the stuff that I'm watching, because it deeply affects me. And it may not be the same for everyone, but I know that I'm not the only one. I am very like emotionally affected by anything that I watch. For an example, the other day I was watching this show, and it was already a very heavy show, and I finished the first season and I was mostly fine afterwards. It did leave me a little bit kind of like on edge. But then I started the second season, and it threw me for such a freaking loop. I was completely unexpecting the traumatic event that would happen within that next season, and I was so affected by it. I had nightmares when I went to bed that night. I was incredibly put off. I was paranoid. I was scared. I was constantly thinking back to what I saw. I cried a lot while watching it, and it just really, really negatively impacted me. A show that's completely fiction, let alone like videos talking about real things going on in the world. A show did this to me. It like completely threw off a good few days for me.
And remember that like sensationalism, so sensation, so basically like virality, so what's viral is what sells. So the news that you get on your fucking feed is usually something that is sensationalism. This is the like the most like selling media to people, because it's shocking, because it like can cause some caught you off guard, like and because it like make you feel strong emotions. And sensationalism, it became like such like even within between journalism, like journalists, like good journalists actually fucking despise sensationalism, because it's basically like spam, like spam. Scammy spam basically is like it's basically scams, but like it talks about real stuff, but basically it's to attract your attention by showing you something fucked up and that like you never heard before, right? And basically like this is stuff that like it's basically like the trash journalism, like. And to be honest, like yeah, you need to fucking like do the work to fucking like get out of it, because it sells. Yeah, it's fucking like weaponized against you to fucking like sell and make number to create metrics on their side. Like these people, they know what they do, and they know that like basically like armless people, basically like people that like don't know don't know much, they fucking like click and they fucking watch, right? So what you can do is actually like fucking like get out of it yourself, because like the people who try to they try to sell it. Why? Because it's their livelihood. Like
I had to stop watching it. I just decided to look up the ending on the internet to just give myself that closure to the story, and then I was like, nope, no more. I can't. Like, I seriously can't. And then after watching that, I decided to watch this video on YouTube that I didn't really know what it was about at first. It was a Solar Sands video, and it was called Humanity's Greatest Sin or something like that. Lo and behold, it was a sin, alright. Oh my god, it was about freaking factory farming, animal cruelty, horrible, horrible, horrible real life stuff, and it made me feel so deeply terrible. So deeply terrible. I was crying. I was like, I was really, really affected by it. And it's even worse because that's like real life stuff. That's stuff that you leave that video knowing that this horrible stuff is happening in this world. And that's just awful. And it's great that I was able to be informed, but at what cost? At what freaking cost? And that's like the tricky part about these things is like you want to be in the know, you want to be able to help, you want to, you know, advocate for what you believe in, but you can't do it at the cost of your sanity. So that was a pretty big reminder to myself of why I decided to start using the internet in a different way lately. And then I slipped, as sometimes I do, you know, sometimes you'll just end up watching the wrong thing or seeing the wrong thing and it'll stay with you for a while. And yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video, is because I had those few days where I was reflecting on this. Like, I need to be careful with what I watch because it really, really does affect me. The internet is full of just crazy, crazy stuff that you would be better off not seeing. There are so
Absolutely
many
true.
better things you could be watching, so much good you could be doing with your time rather than just spending it scrolling through an endless feed of misery and doom, because it's not a reflection of the real world, no matter how
Absolutely.
bad it seems. So please, please, please protect your peace. Go out of your way to block things you do not want to see. It's serious. Like, I don't want everyone out there to be constantly miserable just because of what they see online. If you enjoy watching certain videos, maybe you're really into, I don't know, for me personally, I really love watching like old Minecraft Let's Plays and stuff like that. Stuff that just puts me into like a very peaceful, happy mood, that sort of stuff. I will watch that whenever I feel a little bit like upset because it comforts me. And lately I've been watching a lot of just really feel good videos, no matter what they are. Like, I just really try to stay in a good spot when I'm on the internet because it helps me feel just a little bit better, you know? I try to watch things that inspire me. I try to watch things that make me happy, that make me feel calm. And actually, after I had that kind of, you know, thing with all this bad stuff that I was watching, I went back to just watching some comforting videos that I have watched 1,000 times because it made me feel so much better. It eased my soul and it helped me calm down. So I just try to really pick and choose what I watch on the internet because it really does affect me, and I think it affects everyone to a certain extent, even if you may be less like emotional or sensitive compared to like my reaction. Still, like, it will still leave some subconscious effect to you.
She is absolutely right. Like, never underestimate what media does to you, what these interactions that do to you. Never fucking think that like you're too good, but too good to be fucking like too good to be too good or too uh yeah, too good to be affected. Like, because this is the best way to fuck yourself up in a way that like you'll never freaking forget. But like, you know, like no one is too fucking good or prepared for this, and you should always be careful no matter who fuck you are.
No matter what. No matter if you're the most macho, strong, healthy-minded person in the world, you're still
Exactly.
consuming that and it's still going into your brain in one way or another. So just keep that in
Absolutely.
mind, okay? Please protect yourself. Please keep yourself safe. Just take care of yourself because the internet is really, really messed up in a lot of ways, but there is still so much good out there, and I just want you to be on the lookout for it. Try to push yourself away from the negative stuff out there if you can. Be responsible with your own mental health and with your well-being, okay? I just wanted to share that because I think it's really important,
Such a
and I
lovely
know that a
message.
lot of us are going through a lot of stuff lately, and the internet's current state is definitely not helping, but there are still a lot of things you can do to make it a bit of a more enjoyable place for you. And I think for the most part, the way that I am on the internet these days is pretty good. Like when I'm being responsible, I'm pretty well off on the internet. I scroll through really fun and inspiring Pinterest pictures. I'll watch really fun videos that put a smile on my face or teach me something new or inspire me or like is about something that I'm really interested in. And yeah, there is still a lot of good things out there that you can find. So just look out for them, okay? And look out for yourself. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little video. I know this is not Minecraft related. This is a Minecraft channel.
This is really a great message. I really like this. I really like the way she presented this whole thing. Like, I think that it was important to her, and it was like something really like it's something really true, and she really like understood the problem like that most people like never even get a glimpse of, like never, because like it's kind of like if you don't know the words, like if you don't know the name of your problem, how the fuck can you know that you have a problem? You get me? And basically what she says is true, and I will just add that like if you cannot, like she says, protect your peace by catering, by actually like taking the time to work on the content, like to take the time to rethink about the content that you consume, and take the time to actually do the work, do yourself the service of like this allowing you to actually fucking stumble upon this content that is hurting you. Well, ask for help. Ask for help, like because like your health, your happiness is more valuable than like than a fucking like a messed up algorithm, and that you cannot fucking fix. Okay.
Talk.
Okay. Right. Let's get into let's get into like more chill stuff. After all this, let's watch some random YouTube. Some good old meme YouTube. Oh no. Oh my. Oh. Let me just check one thing real quick. Okay.
Mr. Sandman.
My God, what are you doing? Oh my.
Typical reaction. Are you serious? Like, are you serious? It blurred out like someone fucking throwing like glass? The fuck was wrong with YouTube back then? Oh no.
Oh shit.
This is so trippy. This is so fucking. This is so fucking illegal. This is fuck you. Got you too.
Here we go! Mamma mia! Yeah.
I wonder if they like it.
Dumbass dog, watch this. Look at my hand. Watch this dumbass dog. There you go. Look at it. God damn.
Please turn right, turn left, turn right, recalculate. Please take a 180-degree turn. In 8 meters, please take another 180-degree turn. Recalculating. At 6 meters, please take a 180-degree turn. Recalculating. Make a turn in 4 meters. Recalculating. In 9 meters.
An adorable doggy.
Recalculate. Turn right. 6 meters. Recalculate. Area 51. Recalculate. Pakistan. Recalculate. California, San Diego. Turn left. Where am I? Who am I? What is my purpose?
Epic. How? What? Oh my! What the fuck? Tyler, what are you doing?
Palm tree neck ass back. Oh, big goat slurpy straw neck ass.
Doggone. Aww.
See this big room full of lights? See the switch that's in the most convenient light switch place? Look what I realized.
Thank you.
Get 2 cheeseburgers for just $3.49, or get 2 human children for just $1.69. Only at Burger King.
That's fucked up, my nigga. I know they got you fucked up, all tied up and shit, my nigga. I know, I feel you, cuz. That's bull.
It's a bridge. Just goes around the corner. Walking on fighting side of me. It don't. It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
No, it don't.
It do go down.
Oh!
What are you doing with that glass?
We'll save the turtles.
What up? Thank you. Yep.
Oh no.
Looking.
What are you looking at?
Them titties.
Walter, back up.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
Penang. Adorable.
Hello.
Okay. No, it's not the one. Here it is.
Hello everyone, this is your Daily Dose of Internet. I know a few months ago I made a video about the tallest statue in the world, but it looks like India just built one that's even taller. The Statue of Unity is now the tallest statue in the world. The previous record was 420 meters, but the Statue of Unity stands at 597 meters tall. The statue was created to pay respects to what many people believe is the founding father of modern-day India.
Damn. God damn. You just went for a fucking cloud. This is so insane.
This person discovered that you can pick locks by using a pumpkin carver.
Let's get a tension wrench in there. And that was pretty quick. Let's close this out with this Brinks cable lock. And that one was pretty fast as well.
This isn't a computer
It doesn't
animation.
break it.
This is a ferrofluid clock that uses magnets to move fluid around and tell time.
Oh, this is cool.
This is Migaloo, which is probably the most famous whale in the world. He's an albino white whale, and he's usually seen on the coast of Australia. There's only 3 other known albino humpback whales currently in existence.
Damn.
Please.
This person makes flying holiday decorations by using drones.
This is cool. This is wholesome.
It only rains about once a year in southern Madagascar, so when it does rain, all the tortoises come running out to grab a drink of water.
Damn. So cute.
That's the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.
Alright. Alright, that does it for the stream. Had a fun time, interesting time actually. Got to think about got to talk about some things, got to discover about some things as well. This was really fun. I'll see you next time. And as always, be toxic.